Who will be the next Aberdeen manager? That is the big question at the moment in Scottish football. But the bigger question is, does anybody really want this job? This is a job where you just cannot win. Majority of Aberdeen fans are delusional, and unless you win the league and finish 400 points ahead of both Old Firm teams, they will think that's not acceptable. They will think that you're shit and not good enough for their massive ego-inflated club. So, Aberdeen looking at a new manager. Who are they going to get, though? That is the big question. There is a shitload of managers that they could possibly get. Some are more realistic than others. The bookmakers have already taken bets on who's going to be the new Aberdeen manager. At the moment, Barry Robson is currently filling in as a caretaker manager until they get a permanent one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the entire list that has been listed on. We'll go with William Hill, since they used to sponsor the Scottish Cup. I'm going to go through the names and we're going to have a look here, and I'm going to give my opinion on whether or not I think they have a chance or whether I think they'd be good as Aberdeen manager. But all joking aside, guys, this Aberdeen job, it's not easy. I do believe that Aberdeen fans, they're probably the most delusional fans in the league, in the terms that they just think that they should be competing against the Old Firm, and they just don't seem to realise that financially it's pretty much impossible, right? You don't need ambition to compete against the Old Firm. You need a minor miracle. If you want to win the league, being ambitious ain't going to get you there. When you look at, we're playing a different game. It's like the Rangers and Celtic at the moment, they're playing like chess, and the rest of the league's playing checkers, you know what I mean? They have the finances, the facilities, the revenue, the stadiums, the capacities. They have everything, and the other teams kind of have nothing. Now, don't get me wrong, Aberdeen, there's a big Aberdeen and Rangers are like top tier. They are the biggest tier in Scottish football, and then the next tier is Aberdeen, Hearts, and Hibs. People would include Dundee United. Personally, I wouldn't. I think Dundee United haven't done enough over the past decade. They've been relegated. They haven't really impressed me. I don't think they have the same financial backing, the same sort of financial power as the three clubs that I mentioned do. But I would say that Aberdeen and Hibs and Hearts, they are in the next step below the Old Firm. But let's be real, that is a massive step, man. That is not like taking one step down the stairs. That is like fucking being at the top of the stairs and falling all the way to the bloody bottom, right? That's the next step. So we need to be realistic here. I'm a Hearts fan. I would love Hearts to challenge for the league every single season. But is not challenging the Old Firm, is that showing a lack of ambition? No, it's just, we've got to be realistic, man. We just cannot compete, right? Maybe one season we'll get really lucky. You look at 2005, Hearts finished second. Who knows? Rangers didn't have the greatest year. We had a good year. But for someone to realistically win, it would take like a Leicester to happen again, and that happens like once in a blue moon. So enough of the challenge the Old Firm. You know what I mean? It's not like a manager can come in and change a couple of tactics and all of a sudden make Aberdeen title challengers. That just ain't going to happen, right? You need to be realistic. For one of the teams to challenge the Old Firm, they need to have arguably their best season ever, and you probably need both Old Firm teams to have a poor season, and that's just to have a chance. But anyway, enough talking shite about Aberdeen fans. I mean, they're probably not watching Fids. They're probably too busy shagging sheep anyway, so they're not going to hear this. Let's move on to the managers that could potentially get this job. First one I want to mention is Sol Campbell. He's got no chance of getting it, but if I don't mention Sol Campbell, he'll accuse me of racism. So I need to mention Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell, brother. Good luck with your application, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go in the paper shredder. If you send it in physical copy, it's going in the paper shredder. If you send it by email, it's going straight to junk. We might not even send it to junk. They might just delete it without even touching it. So, I mean, who knows? But Sol Campbell, son, you are not getting the job. Tommy Wright, I don't think he's going to get the job. Didn't impress at Kilmarnock. He was always kind of known as a guy that would just, be solid, defensive, hard to beat, set up teams that were hard to break down. And I think if Tommy Wright was ever going to get a job like this, it would have been a few years ago. Now that he's had a spell with Championship Kilmarnock and he did not impress, he got sacked for them. Honestly, I'm not saying Tommy Wright's career as a Scottish Premiership manager is done, but I think he'll need to earn his way back to that level. I certainly don't see him getting another job in the Scottish Premiership without earning it, and not at a club the size of Aberdeen. So for me, Tommy Wright is a definite no. Who else have we got? We've got Neil Warnock. A lot of people want him. He's 25-1. I don't think he'll have any interest in Aberdeen. I can't see him going to Aberdeen. I think he did apply before, and the Aberdeen didn't even consider his application, so I'm going to say no. Roy Keane, 25-1 also. I mean, I think it would be great to see Roy Keane in the Scottish Premiership. I would absolutely love it. I mean, Roy Keane just bashing players. I mean, I reckon if Aberdeen were playing Celtic, lying down to Celtic, I don't think Roy Keane would accept it. He'd probably get on the pitch and start, kicking lumps at all the wee Japanese players, man. I don't think Roy Keane would just sit by and watch Aberdeen be shite, you know what I mean? Joe Lewis doing a David De Gea. I mean, Roy Keane would be on and fucking punching him in the face, but I don't think Roy Keane will be the new Aberdeen manager either. I would love it. Don't get me wrong. It'd be epic. I mean, Roy Keane being the Aberdeen manager would be bigger than Aaron Ramsey going to Rangers. I stand by that 100%. Aaron Ramsey, I mean, who cares? Aaron Ramsey sucks. He's got no personality. Roy Keane's the man. Roy Keane is from a totally different era. Roy Keane is a living legend. We need people like Roy Keane in the game, right? Roy Keane is what football's all about. Not this new generation of footballers, not these pussies. We need more Roy fucking Keanes. So I'm all for Roy Keane. He would be my number one choice. But I'm saying that as if I support Aberdeen. I don't, but I'd like to see Roy Keane in the Scottish Premiership. It's just not going to happen, I don't think. I think if Roy Keane was going to come to the Scottish Premiership, it would only be for one club. And I think that club is currently doing alright with a Greek manager who's top of the table. So I don't think we're going to get Roy Keane. Another guy is 25-1, Derek McInnes. I think Aberdeen fans would have an absolute meltdown if Derek McInnes was appointed for a second spell. I think the guy was harshly done by. I mean, if you look at his Aberdeen record, I mean, come on. The guy done a good job. He played 378 games for Aberdeen. This is his manager, by the way. He won 202 of them, 75 draws and 101 losses. So that is a win percentage of 53.44. He was winning more, than averaging more wins than like one every 2 games. So I mean that's a solid record. I mean, you can't sniff your nose at that. Plus he did win the Scottish League Cup and made a couple of cup finals as well. So Aberdeen would be begging for that right now, but they had it and they let it go. So you know what? That's their own fault. It's not going to be Derek McInnes, but I do think we'll see Derek McInnes back in the Premier League next year. Whether Kilmarnock go automatically up or they go up through the playoffs, I think Derek McInnes will get Kelly back in to the top flight. Another guy, 25-1, Callum Davidson. If Aberdeen sacked Glass last year, when in my opinion they should have, because you could just see there was no sign of progress, they weren't going anywhere, coming off the back of that cup double, I think Callum Davidson would have been an absolute lock-on for this job. I think Callum Davidson could have walked in butt naked, slammed his cock into Dave McCormack's mouth, and he still would have got the job. That's how confident I think. That's how confident I am that Callum Davidson would have got this job. But you've seen what the league table looks like. You've seen what the form's happened. Strange things can happen in football. This guy's went from a god. This guy's went from a living legend. This guy's went from... He was the manager of the year last year. You can give it to Gerrard if you want, but this guy got robbed. This guy should have won it. But this year, it's the complete opposite. St Johnstone, I think they've moved up to 11th now, but for a while they were rock bottom of the table. And they've just been absolutely terrible. They had a good showing in Europe, but ever since they got knocked out of that, they've been absolute dross. So Callum Davidson, his stock has went back quite a bit. He will not be getting this job. He's lucky probably to be in a job. If he didn't win that cup double last year, he would have been sacked by now. There's no doubt about it. That's bottom enough time to maybe turn things around at St Johnstone. And I hope he does, because he seems like a nice guy. And that was a tremendous cup double. And I hope he does turn things around at St Johnstone, but he will not be getting this Aberdeen job. Ronnie Deila, 20-1. If Aberdeen want to get relegated, then he's your man. I'm not going to say anything else. If we want relegated, hire Ronnie Deila. I mean, Ronnie Deila is the reason Aberdeen almost nearly won the league back in 2013-2014, because the Celtic team was that pish. There's no way Ronnie Deila is getting the Aberdeen job, unless Dave McCormack actually hates Aberdeen and their fans, and maybe he wants them to suffer. If that's the case, then there's a good chance Ronnie Deila gets it, but unless that's the case, there's no chance he gets it. Another guy at 20-1, Alec McLeish. I'm not going to make fun of Alex McLeish. I'm not going to, say anything bad about the guy. I think in his prime, he was an okay manager. I don't think he was ever anything special. He done alright at Rangers. He won trophies. Martin O'Neill's talked about this god as a manager, and Alex McLeish actually, did alright against Martin O'Neill. If you look at it in the league, he actually, the years they were competing against each other as managers, Alex McLeish did alright against O'Neill, so he's not a bad manager. He did okay at Hibs, but let's be real. With Scotland, he was fucking atrocious. I don't think he's all there mentally. I think he may be losing the plot. I think his brain is his mental facilities could be betraying him. So I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm not going to say anything bad about the guy. I don't think he should be. I don't think he's really fit to be a football manager. And who knows? Maybe the last time I seen him, maybe there was something going on in his personal life with Scotland manager, and I don't know. But let's be real. The last time we seen him as Scotland manager, he didn't seem like he couldn't even speak properly, man. He wasn't really speaking coherently. He didn't look right. He just the results certainly weren't right. There was just something off about Alex McLeish. I hope he's doing better now though, but I don't think he's the right man for Aberdeen. Dick Campbell, 20-1, doing great. Our bro of part-timers, currently top of the Scottish Championship. I don't think he's done enough though to earn the Aberdeen job. I mean, Arbroath are doing really good right now, but could it be a one-season, fluke? Could it be? It might be. And can Arbroath maintain that position? We'll see. But honestly, I think signing Dick Campbell would be jumping the gun big time. For me, there's no way Dick Campbell gets this job. But here, congratulations, because he's doing a great job this season with Arbroath, and hopefully they get rewarded with... I'd like to see them win the championship, I would, because I think they deserve it, especially, being such a small team, and like I said, part-timers, and they're pulling above their expectations big time at the moment, overachieving for sure. Who else have we got? Scott Brown, 20-1, current Aberdeen manager, coach as well, was rumoured to be the assistant manager, didn't quite get that job last year with Declan Glass, but who knows, maybe Scott Brown could get it this time. To me, I can't see it. He's not been Aberdeen fans aren't exactly happy with him being a player. Could you imagine if he was a player manager? I think they'd have a meltdown. I think they would have a stroke. I think they would, probably support somebody else. Probably start supporting the Rangers. That's how much it would piss them off. But I don't think it's going to be Scott Brown. For me, it's a no. Be a cool action scene, but for me, it's a nah. That's not going to happen. 16-1, we've got Malky Mackay. Doing well with Ross County. Ross County at the start of the season looked like they were down a hole. They have turned the tide a bit, man. They are getting up the table. I think Ross County will avoid relegation. I think Malky Mackay is doing a good job. I think his stock was higher, obviously, like 5 years ago. I don't think he'll get this job, but I don't think Aberdeen will sign him. But who knows? Maybe in the future I could definitely see him, at a club like that. But for now, I don't think they're going to go for him. 16-1, Gordon Strachan. Aberdeen, I think we were interested in him previously before they signed Glass. Didn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen now. 14-1, Paul Lambert. Again, hasn't really impressed me, to be fair, anywhere he's been. He hasn't had a bad managerial career, but I don't think he's the right man for Aberdeen. You got Paul Hartley, current Cove Rangers manager, 14-1. Cove Rangers doing well. A, I don't think Aberdeen will be interested in Paul Hartley, and B, I think Paul Hartley should stick at Cove Rangers, because I believe that Cove Rangers will be in the Scottish Premiership in a couple of years' time. I think the future's bright for Cove Rangers. Who else have we got? We've got Roy Keane, 14-1. Is it going to happen? Roy Keane he's interested in getting back into management. He was apparently really interested in the Sunderland job. It didn't go his way. He didn't get it. Could he get the Aberdeen job? Personally, I think it would be fucking epic seeing Roy Keane in the Scottish Premiership, but it's just not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. Wait, what the fuck? I've already spoke about Roy Keane. What am I doing here? How long is this video dragging on for? Jesus Christ, right, forget I said that. Oh wait, it's not Roy Keane, it's fucking Neil Lennon. I've got these two people. How the fuck did I get them mixed up? I looked at Neil Lennon's face. How the hell did I look at that wee ginger and say Roy Keane? I don't get that. Yes, Neil Lennon. A guy that I think could be the new Aberdeen manager, and a guy that I think actually deserves another shot at Aberdeen. Neil Lennon. I think his managerial career, if you don't count Bolton, I think it's very underrated. I think he done a good job at Celtic, right? Apart from the last season where they're going for 10 in a row, everything fell apart, right? It did. It was a disaster. But, is that all Lennon's fault? I don't think it is. I think a lot of the players down tools that year. And I don't think we can necessarily blame that all on Lennon. If you look at Lennon's win percentage record while being at Celtic, both his spells, Celtic won over 70% of their games, which is pretty damn good. And with Hibernian, he had a 47.9 percentage win as Hibernian boss, which is again almost one win in every 2 games, which is really, really good. He had 123 games for Hibs, 159, and here's the big thing. Normally draws are pretty rare in football. They're the least common result. Normally either you win or you lose, right? Draws are pretty uncommon in the grand scheme of things. But he actually drew 40 games with Hibs and only lost 24. So Neil Lennon, Very rarely. I mean, Hibs did not lose very often under Neil Lennon. Let's be real. When you look at that managerial stat there, so I think Neil Lennon is a guy that obviously a lot of people don't like him. His style of football gets criticised. His disastrous spell at Bolton, where it wasn't too good. But then again, look at Bolton. The club. It's not like the club have flourished since Neil Lennon left. Bolton have been a bit shit. Let's be real. So I don't know. I do not know. We'll see what happens. But I think Neil Lennon is underrated as a manager, and I think he would. I think he'd be good as Aberdeen manager. I'd like to see it. I think he could do a decent job, but that remains to see if that'll happen. I don't think it will. Don't think the Aberdeen fans would want him. But Neil Lennon meeting up with Scott Brown again, who knows? 61, we're moving into the guys now that are most likely to get the job. 61, Jim Goodwin, current St Mirren manager. He's not doing a bad job. If you look at his record, actually, it is pretty decent. His managerial record with Alloa Athletic, he had a 40% win record. Then he moved on to St Mirren. He's currently sitting at 32. I think a 32% win record for a club the size of St Mirren is actually no bad. It's pretty decent. He does play decent, attractive football. He makes some good signings, even though St Mirren have practically no money, and he has to, break open the piggy bank every season. He does manage to find some decent wee gems as well. So I think that he's got an eye for talent. He can obviously pick a player, and his tactics are no bad either. So I think Jim Goodwin. I'm not sure if Aberdeen will want to take the risk in Jim Goodwin, but then again, you say take a risk. Taking a risk, in my opinion, is signing Stephen Glass, a guy that's done nothing. Jim Goodwin's actually proved that he is a pretty good manager. It's just that he hasn't had, a big club to manage it. So there's no saying that Jim Goodwin couldn't go to Aberdeen and, do well. He could. He hasn't had the chance yet to do good at a big club. So we'll see what happens. Will Jim Goodwin be the man? I don't know. Possibly, but I don't know. And last, but not actually, there's two more people to discuss. So we'll start with, we'll leave the, I'm going to go, this guy's actually favourite with the bookies, but we're going to go with him next, because I have been doing it in order, but I'm going to go with him next. I just don't think this guy will get the job. Current caretaker manager, Barry Robson. Aberdeen will probably get a wee bit better with him in charge, because this happens all the time. Once a manager leaves, the players actually come out and try a wee bit. They get like a boost, they want to prove their doubters wrong and all this shit, so they come out and they try harder than they will have been, under the previous couple of games. So that's bullshit. I think Barry Robson will probably pick up some decent results, but whether I think he should get the Aberdeen management job or not, absolutely not, in my opinion. Unless they give him like 10 games and he wins all 10 of them by 5-0, then of course maybe give him it. But I don't think Barry Robson will be the Aberdeen manager. I think he's just going to have this job until he gets something else. And last but not least, the second favourite with the bookmakers is Jack Ross, the former Hibernian manager who left Hibs this season after being sacked. A guy, in my opinion, that was probably sacked unfairly. And I'm saying that as a Hearts fan, and I'm not saying that because Hibs were going through a really bad spell, but Hibs were doing good under Jack Ross. They weren't doing spectacular, but they were doing good. Let's look at Jack Ross's record here. Alloa Athletic, a 38.24 win percentage record, right? That's good. That is good. St Mirren, from 2016 to 2018, he played 80 games, and he won 42 of them with St Mirren. That gave him a 52.5 win percentage record. Then he moved to Sunderland. 75 games played. He won 38, drew 27, and lost only 10. For a 50% win record, over 50% actually, 50.67. With Sunderland, a Sunderland team now that have went to absolute shit since Jack Ross left them. And then at Hibs, he had 96 games played, 47 wins, 20 draws and 29 defeats, a 48.96 winning record. This guy's record as a manager, his winning percentage overall at every club he's been at is 49.12. And now look at the clubs he's been at. Alloa Athletic, St Mirren, Sunderland and Hibs. This ain't clubs that should be winning every week. These ain't clubs that should be going out and dominating. He hasn't managed Man City. He hasn't managed the Old Firm. He hasn't managed Bayern Munich. He's been managing teams that have been upper middle table at best. So for him to have that sort of win percentage stat, in my opinion, that's pretty damn good, man. You can't really knock that. I think Jack Ross is probably going to be, in my opinion, he's the favourite for the Aberdeen manager, and I think he deserves another chance at a big club. If I was an Aberdeen fan, I wouldn't mind Jack Ross as the Aberdeen manager. I think he had playing some really good stuff at times, and I don't see why he couldn't do the same for Aberdeen. Is he going to be the man that makes Aberdeen challenge the old firm? No, because realistically that's not going to be happening. That's not going to be a manager that does that. That's going to be like an owner. That's going to be a chairman that comes in and has a shitload of money to spend, whether it be blood money or whatever sort of money. Any money, as long as the colour's green, the money is spendable. So that's what Aberdeen need if they really want to challenge the old firm. But it's not going to happen, guys. Anyway, that is it. I went through the entire list of candidates. Anyone that I didn't mention, sorry, you're shite. I mentioned Sol Campbell, you're shite, but I've already gave the reasons why I mentioned Sol Campbell. So, yeah, there you go, guys. That is it. There is my Aberdeen next manager list preview. Call it what you want. Let me know down below who you think will be the next Aberdeen manager. Let me know down below who you think should be the next Aberdeen manager. Are you an Aberdeen fan? Do you have a preferential choice? Or, I don't know, do you just want to see somebody managing Scottish football? Let me know down below. Anyway, that's it, guys. Absolutely melting here, so it's time to end this video. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below. I'm fucking hell. I'm saying Alex McLeish couldn't string a sentence together. And I can barely string a sentence together anymore, man. It's about 40 degrees in here. What the hell? Right, I'm gonna end this video before the laptop melts. Till next time, thanks for watching, and peace.